Donald Trump, meanwhile, has been trafficking in racist conspiracy theories and historical mistruths for decades before becoming president. Here to talk about how he's continuing to do that from the Oval Office is Trump biographer and Pulitzer Prize-winning investigative journalist David K. Johnston, and Dr. James Peterson, director of Africana Studies at Lehigh University and an MSNBC contributor. So, you know, the thing that's happened today, David, is that you've had this op-ed come out saying, I voted for Donald Trump and now I regret it. You've had all these Republicans come out and being shocked that Donald Trump is embracing Confederate lore and these groups that march with neo-Nazis. But is it intellectually honest, quite to be blunt, for Republicans to be shocked? I mean, Donald Trump was sued in the 1970s by the Nixon administration for housing discrimination. There was a 2015 article that would have reminded people of that if they didn't know about it. They eventually settled without admitting guilt. Donald Trump went after the Central Park five black teenagers in 1989. Right. It was very well known for taking out that full-page ad. And this is what he said in a 1989 interview when he was asked to justify calling for the death of these teenagers.
Of course I hate these people, and let's all hate these people, because maybe hate is what we need if we're going to get something done. I mean, it's incredible when a reporter asks me whether or not I have compassion for the people that did this crime. I have absolutely no compassion.
Do you see some hypocrisy in Republicans pretending they didn't know this guy?
The time for the Republicans to stand up was in 2015 and 16, and they did not. And the stench of Donald Trump's lifelong racism is going to stick to them for a long time. This is not good for the country. We want to have strong political parties so that we have good debates about the real issues in our country. Donald Trump's racism is even on full display in the story about General Blackjack Pershing, where Donald just loves the fact that there was violence against people. He loves stories of blood and violence. And by the way, I hope Trump is watching, because Donald, you should know that General Pershing sat down with those people and he read with them from the Quran.
Yeah, and you know, as if you know, James, as if people could pretend that they are pleading ignorance on his sort of racist takes in the 1980s. This is Donald Trump talking about President Barack Obama's birth certificate in 2012. Take a listen.
If the state of Hawaii says this is official, he was born in Hawaii on this date, here it is, why do you deny that?
A lot of people do not think it was an authentic certificate.
How can you say that if this...
You won't report it, Wolf, but many people do not think it was authentic. His mother was not in the hospital. There were many other things that came out. And frankly, if you would report it accurately, I think you'd probably get better ratings than you're getting, which are pretty small.
Is there any way that anyone, any adult who's been sentient for the last 10 years can claim they did not know Donald Trump's racial attitudes?
I see no. I don't understand this at all. I don't understand how Republicans can have any cover. Just look at the policies. Joy, look, I mean, the transgender ban in the military, the Muslim ban. Look at the DOJ. Look at the Department of Justice, how they reversed course on the war on drugs, reversed course on consent decrees and sort of evaluating our law enforcement. I mean, from a policy perspective, there is no cover. This guy has, as the President of the United States, has made it very, very clear exactly where it stands. But just a pro tip from Mr. Lewandowski about the General Pershing piece, that is not an analogy, my friend. That's not how analogies work. Okay, analogies have to have a point of reference, all right? And not only is this a mythology, but there's no point of reference to actually make it an analogy. So they live in this world of mythology. I mean, it's not a fact-based world. And unfortunately, there are too many supporters of this president who are more than happy to live and breathe in that world.
And David, you know, do you get the sense that Donald Trump is clinging to this sort of Breitbart base, the Bannonites, because he thinks he needs them or because he agrees with them?
Well, he does both of those, but I think there's something deeper going on here. I've said for more than 2 years now that if Donald could create the circumstances that would allow him to suspend the Constitution, whether formally or informally, and become dictator, he would do so. Now, I will say the one heartening thing about the news is that it's very clear from the coordinated messages by the Joint Chiefs that Donald Trump cannot get the military to back him to take over this country. But that's the only good news in all of this. Donald Trump we have not seen the worst of this, Joy. This man's racism is becoming more and more evident. He is retreating into the evil inside of himself that was evident to all of us who know him well and have not been dependent on him, have been independent of him for a long time. And this is not as bad as it is going to get, and I worry greatly for our republic. Senator Corker is right. He is putting the nation in great peril.
And yet, Dr. James Peterson, you have Republicans like Mitch McConnell expressing private fury. You have lots of people tweeting against Nazis as if that's a high bar to clear. What do you make of the Republicans' so far reticence to go directly at Donald Trump or to do what Steve Schmidt and the USA Today are calling on them to do and censure him?
Well, I mean, it's political cowardice, and I don't understand this, Joy. I mean, are they holding out for tax cuts or for repealing of Obama? Like, I don't understand what the political strategy is in not addressing this, unless they actually believe that the core of the base of the Republican Party is the core of Trump and the core of Trump supporters at this point in time. I mean, it doesn't take much. The bar is so low. I mean, Mitch McConnell has been attacked by this president. His life partner was used as a prop when this president stooped to his lowest point in terms of his comments about Charlottesville, Virginia. It seems to me that there are many ways for him to be personally and professionally motivated to step out and to critique. And obviously he has the power as a leader in the Senate, but I don't understand the sort of lack of courage in this particular moment, Joy. I don't.
History will judge. David K. Johnston and James Peterson, thank you very much. Appreciate you both.
Thank you, Joy.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.